What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 76 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Volkmar the Grim attacked the Springs of Eternal Life, the second last settlement of Khemri. The faction is quite weak and they only have the one settlement left with a single battle, so we'll be taking them out relatively shortly, though it does look like it'll at least be a fairly good battle. The Volkmar's battle was fairly easy, but at least the Demigriffs got a real nice time to play around. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time around, well, we got us several battles that we can at least choose from. Gorge potentially if we want to actually bother to fight the battle, though the enemy probably doesn't stand too much of a chance. We could fight at the Golden Ziggurat, though that one will probably be just a quick manual fight. There is potentially attack on Lord Mazdamundi, though once again it may be better to just ambush him. And then I do believe there are other fights that I am probably not thinking of right now. Well, at the very least we need to move a lot of armies around northward, at the very least, to where they need to go, and then we'll figure out what it is exactly that we want to fight. Let's see what we're looking at here. And oh, actually, I just remembered something. So one of the reasons that I didn't want to attack, or not attack, get a defensive alliance with the Order of Lore Masters, or any kind of alliance, was, well, actually partly because they're at war with Ironbrow's expedition, which may mean they'll probably get into a war with the other dwarfs. But the main reason wasn't that at all. The main reason was the fact that if we got a defensive alliance with them, we'd spot Kairos. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, we can already see Kairos all the way down here. I hadn't noticed that he had crept so far forward, and yes, indeed, we can see him. His strength rank is at 2, so he's actually the second strongest faction in the game right now. Well, isn't that nice? Well, either way, it doesn't change the fact that we do have to declare war on him because, well, it's quite a necessity. He's already at war with all of these guys, which is great. We don't want to be at peace with him, or he'll just trade away our territories. So yeah, call your allies to help. Do we want to risk anybody not joining us, I guess is the question. And several factions might not want to fight the second strongest faction in the game. I guess we could risk it. Hopefully that won't screw us over. There's several weak factions. The Orthodoxy and Kislev, for example, are in very bad shape up here and don't have much in the way of armies. We also have... Who else is weak? I'm just wondering who potentially wouldn't want to join this. As in, would we be willing to lose the outposts and the units that they provide? We're not allied with the lizards down here, which would obviously, well, they're already probably at war with him. Bordelot Errant, perhaps? Wait, but are we allied with Bordelot Errant? Yeah, we are. They're quite weak as well, so they have the potential not to join as well. Alright, well, either way, let's give it a try and let's see if that does anything. Here we go, and... no, everybody joined. Alrighty, well, that's just swell. A little surprising, but I'm happy with it. At the very least, everybody should be a little bit happier because everybody's now fighting Kairos. Gonna be difficult to swap territories around when you're fighting everybody, though I'm sure that he will pause our faction sooner rather than later. Anyway, now that that's done, let's get back to the moving of stuff. Gregor Rodziner, have we got you able to attack Torquarali now? These guys are still sieging it. I do have to wonder how long they'll be doing that for, but I guess we'll see. You just stay where you are, my friend. Wolfram Custerman and your follower man, Luther Grauber. Well, you're both going to push towards Def Gorge, and we'll see if it's worth our time in terms of fighting. Wolfram Custerman close to feet by himself. I mean, there's a decent amount of troops in there. Certainly seems like it might be worth the fight. We'll leave our units out here in case this is the fight to take. This might actually be the last fight against the Exiles. Oh, this is the last fight against the Exiles. Yeah, if it's the last fight against them, we should probably take it then. Otherwise, we have an ally mission from Torgavon, kill Thwart the Unclean, and kill Vekhal the Slaughter Fiend. Well, we can certainly do that since we're about to. And... try that again. Spirits of Shanlin. I actually forgot that you existed, as in that you hadn't been destroyed. Ow. Quest got updated, so we can't go after that guy, but we can go after Cat Bloodletter here, and that actually sounds like a Coronate name, and that's about it. Okay. Alrighty, anybody else? Is there a potential better battle to be had? Peter, you're moving southward towards the Skull Island, and I guess towards Kairos now, since, well, that's where you were headed. And I suppose that Volkmar, once he's done with Casa Bar, is going to head down to fight Kairos as well. We need to knock the second strength faction out of the running. And Bernhard von Sanger, you are a recruiter. Well, actually, a recruiter is a recruiter, but you currently are holding a bunch of units. But I don't think you need any more at the current time because we're recruiting a follower army right now, so... And just stay as you are. Kurt Haldenstrat, you... Oh, right, I remember the auto-resolves trying to screw us over with regards to our war sleds, but you can't move until next turn anyway, so you're fine. Helmut Feuerbach, you are... You are supposed to move northward, unless I'm mistaken. There was a... There is a gunsmith here, but yeah, you're gonna move northward. You're gonna get a bunch more artillery pieces. This is gonna be our very artillery-heavy army with our witch hunters, after all. That will need to have a few units to act as an extremely strong front line, especially considering the limited numbers that we have there. Because we could put the Black Lions in that army too, potentially. Although it might be better to put them with an infantry-heavy army rather than an artillery-heavy army if they're already leaning so heavily into a single concept. Anyway, anybody else need to do anything that isn't a fight? Gregor von Blutten, you're fine. Heinz Weber, I always go to you and I never need you to do anything. Oh right, Boris, you could, in theory... draw Azazel out. I have to wonder whether he'd be willing to fight, though. What do we have here? A lot of chariots, which would be quite an issue for these guys. If Azazel isn't willing to fight, however, this will be a problem. I do think this would be a better fight than the other one, though. Alright, you go here. Let's see. Let's see if they're willing. It'll be unfortunate to suffer attrition if they're not, but once again, I'll have to give it a shot. You're gonna go right here. We'll level you up just in case. Leader of... Oh, right. You were just a temporary Grand Master. You were not even supposed to be a Grand Master, eh? You're supposed to have a better Lord leading these troops, which should probably be a... probably an Arch-Elector. Probably not a Monster Tracker, though. Knight Heritage, funnily enough. Knight Heritage, but there's no Knights to be in this army. This is just a bunch of regular Imperial troops. Weapon strength +5 when fighting against Warriors of Chaos and Norska. Kill the heretics. Maybe we'll go with you then. Let's do that. Wait, I assume you don't have any items or anything? No, you don't. Okay, just had to double check that just in case. Alrighty, let's get... Alright, this guy's disciplined too. But nonetheless, where was our general of the... Ooh, wait. 1 second. You do have a single warrior priest. So the halberdiers would get a decent benefit out of the battle, well, the Heritage the Watch, no, Heritage the Vanguard. 8% missile infantry and 8 missile resistance, as well as upkeep reduction, though at this point I don't think we care that much about it. I guess the question is that better than the Soulfire and the buffs provided directly by the... by an Arch-Elector? As a lord, the Arch-Elector is probably going to be considerably stronger. Missile resistance, oh yeah, for halberdiers, I think maybe yeah, fine. Alright. Took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but you know, decisions and all that. Kill the heretics it is. Wolfric Berogan, you're gonna join this little army, and we're going to buff up everybody with the Emperor's Finest, and I guess Pistol Corps as well. And then we can get Rally and Strength of Hardship as well for those... Spearmen, Sigmar Disciples, no. Where are halberdiers? Taste for battle? Yes, alright, taste for battle. Oh, that's much better. Physical resistance 10 and melee defense +5, and alright. It does cost us hold the line, but I think that's a fairly considerably better buff. Very nice. 5364. They may still be something of a lackluster unit in terms of taking hits, but... Well, actually, maybe not so much. We've seen the Jungard do great things after all, and the other halberdiers in in Nud's army. Now, you will probably want your level. We have improved scrying techniques, and I guess we should probably max out Flock of Doom, since we do spam it quite a bit. Boris, the rest of your guys... Yeah, let's get Shield of Faith, and then the other good stuff as we go. And then lastly, the Empire Captain, who is at rank 10. And I guess we're going to go with Officer Squad? Or do we get the Demigriff? Probably won't matter all that much at the end of the day. You know what, I'll think about it, I'll just hold on to the point for now. Let's attack and see if these guys are willing to fight. I certainly hope that they are. And it's 2 versus 2 sorta, but they do have a Zazel there. Will he run? Ah, he's gonna run. Alright, now I guess the question is, can you guys reach the actual Bay of Blades? The answer might be no. Yeah, oh well. It's okay, we have other battles to fight. Not a huge deal. I do now have to wonder whether this guy will stay here, or whether he'll try to withdraw towards the Tower of Crack or the Sarl encampment. This also allows us to move Dirk Sidow a little bit closer, a little bit faster, because Azazel can't catch him. Watch him try to sail to the Longship Graveyard, though. I guess that would be pretty irritating. Alrighty, well, if that fight can't happen, I guess we can pick one of the other ones, which I believe is going to be Death Gorge. So Death Gorge it is. There's more levels to take here, but I think we're just going to do the Mage and then go. Let's get another point in Vissen's Wild form, I think. The extra armor that it provides is extremely valuable to the Flagellants. And... you're level 19, but you have Grand Sulfur. I just want to check that we have the good stuff on all of you. Yeah, we do. Alright, that's fine then. That is fine. Away you go. Last fight of the Exiles of Khorne, and valiant defeat, apparently. Okay, I like the sound of that. Do they have the ability to summon Bloodletters? Yes, they do, so we will need to be careful because of that, and guard our mortars as best we can. Swig of Fury, rather. Act up to 10 entities, causes damage to combatants. Okay. Alright, well, let's see if we can deal. Here we go.
It is an honor.
Alrighty, hopefully it will indeed be an honor to fight the forces of Khorne. This is their last stand, and once again they will be facing off against this army of Flagellants and Sigmarite disciples. A very appropriate matchup, I would think, and we should have a fun time breaking through the massive piles of Bloodletters and Chaos Warriors of Khorne within the enemy settlement. It's a pretty good garrison, and probably why the auto-resolve was saying valiant defeat, although I sincerely doubt that that's actually going to be the case, at least if past experience is anything to judge by. A little bit unfortunate that this map is so dark, as it's going to be a little bit difficult to see what's going on here, but that is, well, that's the nature of the game sometimes. Also, I told all the mortars to attack the enemy structures here, the enemy towers, and this mortar decided, well, you know what, I'm just going to get bugged, and I'm going to move all the way forward, whereas the other ones are firing just fine, which is a little bit annoying. I mean, I get that when this happens, with the line of sight with, like, cannons and stuff, but when it's a frickin' mortar, which has a massive arc, it's a little bit silly game, but oh well. Fortunately, we were able to move it more or less out of the way, and the bombardment will continue, though I will speed it up just a little bit as we try to continue knocking all of those towers down. Still a few of them left, and while these Bloodletters get summoned and fought, I'm just going to go ahead and move my cat 1 second. Alright, sorry about that, and by the looks of it, the time it takes to destroy a unit of summoned Bloodletters of Khorne is exactly the time it takes to move one cat. That's how I'm going to be measuring time from now on. And ooh, nice relatively point-blank fire there, Mr. Handgunner. Anyway, let's see how we're doing over here. We also sent out our Empire captains. They've destroyed one of the enemy towers that was firing upon us, and the other one is too far away to fire upon us, but it still does have to be destroyed. Looks like another one of our mortars taking hits from the enemy towers, but it looks like there's only one that can currently reach them. So as soon as this one is done, we either ignore these because they are no threat to us, or we knock them out from a distance wherein they are, or they remain not much of a threat. Alrighty, and then afterwards, obviously, we'll be able to actually get a fight going. And ooh, nice summon from the enemy here. The Bloodletters dropping right on top of our mortars. And once again, I used to sometimes, and I know I've said this before, I used to sometimes feel bad for the AI when the player would use their army ability, or I would use my army abilities right on top of an enemy artillery piece or something like that, but the AI does the exact same thing. At this point, if the AI does it, the player should have the capability of doing the same without feeling too bad. And obviously the AI tries to pick a decent target for its menace below and its bloodletters, though sometimes it just whiffs and does nothing. It has a bad tendency to summon the menace below in particular, like within the enemy settlement, or just behind its own lines and not where it should be. But it might be that it sees no actual potential target when it does that, so it just doesn't really summon near your troops. Maybe that's why. I'm not entirely sure. Well, either way, with that was the third use of the Bloodletter summoning, which means we don't have to wait around and protect our mortars anymore, as they are out of at least summonable Bloodletters, though there are plenty more of the regular variety within the settlement. We're gonna head everybody towards the gate, including our reinforcing army. We have 4 Archlectors and Warrior Priests on the field in this army, as we like to do, and just a massive pile of various types of units. We're going to send the Free Company Militia up on top of the walls to fire down on the enemy as soon as the Flagellants and Sigmarite Disciples have actually broken through the wall and gate, as we obviously want them distracting the enemy. The gate's down to about a third of its original HP, and we're even getting a few shots off on the enemy that are on the walls, though it looks like they're going to be abandoning said walls rather than continue taking hits. Mortars are firing up there as well, but they will probably continue to do so when we start fighting the enemy once we've broken through the gate. Oh. And one of our heroes has moved through this. I really want them to fix the way the gates work, though. Out of the things that I want the most, it's definitely pretty up there. The way that units can get stuck on the other side of the gate is just extremely irritating. Just don't go there. Oh well. Alrighty, and we are in. We are going to lead the way with our 4 Warrior Priest heroes and lords, while a unit of summoned halberdiers follows them, mostly because they're liable to take the most damage, and right through the gaps in the Sigmar, or the Disciples battle, or not the Disciples, the Halberdiers battle line, we've got the Sigmar Sons moving in as well, our Regiment of Renown. And we're also going to start the spam of the Soulfire, what this particular army is famed for, though a little bit of Flock of Doom can't be a bad thing, though it's not really going to do a lot of damage to a unit of heavily armored Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Anyway, the Soulfire comes down, and just like the Soulfire, so do the mortar shells from the Sootsan's guns. Can't wait so that we can have a 4th Sootsan's gun in here, as we're at 3 out of 4 at the current time. But they've been fairly effective throughout the campaign nonetheless. Also, just out of curiosity, I want to see how much damage that one use of the Flock of Doom did. So our wizard should be up here somewhere. He got 10 kills, but 7k damage barely. Yeah, we've done a lot better than that. I mean, especially in my current Kroq-Gar campaign, the Lure of Beasts has been an absolute lifesaver and has done massive amounts of damage. I think a couple of times we went over 100,000 decent damage with just Flock of Doom spam alone, though that said, it was primarily used against things like Skaven and, funnily enough, Imperials, which aren't very heavily armored, generally speaking, so hardly surprising that they took that much damage. And then same thing with the Skaven and such. Anyway, another use will come in, and while it may not do a crazy amount of damage, it is still hitting a lot of units at the same time, and it is, you know, chipping away at them. It's going to be a long battle as we break through all of these Chaos Warriors, after all, although the Flagellants and the Sigmarite Disciples are well into the city now. Oh, a little bit more visible over on this side, so maybe we'll watch a few fights here. Mostly because it's a little bit less dark here than it is over on the other side. Now, the Chaos Warriors of Khorne in vacuum should probably be superior to any one of these units, with the possible exception of the Sigmar Sons, because they get pretty, beefy, but the Sigmarite Disciples and the Flagellants should certainly stand no chance in a one-on-one against these guys. That said, all of our army units are, or at the very least the ones that are breaking through the gate here, are standing near to our heroes and lords, and the warrior priests do apply a lot of bonuses to them. The Grand Shield of Faith and I forget what the Hammer of Sigmar. Or is it Shield of Sigmar or whatever? Those two, basically. Lots of extra melee attack and lots of damage resistance, which should make it a little bit easier to go through these Khornate warriors. Alright, keep on whacking away at them, and it does look like they are starting now to drop in numbers, whereas the Sigmarites are only increasing in numbers as well as they continue breaking through the gate. We also once again have the mortar support, which I'm sure are doing quite a number on the Bloodletters and Chaos Warriors here. We've also got the piles of Free Company militia who are now headed on top of the walls, as I said earlier, to begin firing down on the enemy, though it looks like the enemy did decide to try to stop them at least a little bit with some exalted Bloodletters. A unit of Skull Crushers is moving around down there, and by the looks of it is heading towards the towards our lords and heroes. Fairly frightening unit here, and it's not like we have demigriffs to fight them, so these guys are going to have their job cut out for them. And ooh, these Skull Crushers actually back off. Oh, no, and then they're coming back. Maybe they saw the mortar shells come in, but then they realized that, well, there's a lot more where that came from, and no matter where they run, and they're going to keep dropping. Alrighty, and that's what, our fourth or fifth, perhaps, Flock of Doom? What are we at in terms of damage now on that wizard? He's up at 46 kills and 21k damage, 22k damage, 23k damage. Still not a crazy amount, but, well, you get them there. Alright, and yeah, it's just a press of melee units against a press of melee units. And I know this may not seem crazy exciting in terms of, well, tactics, as in it's just blob, go through gate, and kill things. But I've always enjoyed these sort of battles, just the infantry duking it out and the survival of the fittest sort of thing. And I think Khorne can appreciate that as well. As opposed to everybody just melting away to range fire. Not that that doesn't have its entertainment value as well, mind you. It's nice to get a mix of the two. Alrighty, come on, bring down those Skull Crushers, or at least begin to bring them down. There's a lot more of you than there are of them. And we even get a little support from our 2 units of archers in the follower army. And ooh, a Blood Shrine of Khorne wades into the fight on that demon bike that they've got, though it looks like our heroes are also aware of it and are going to try to whack it around. Now, this is a pretty good place for it to be, though, as that is a lot of infantry that is getting splash damage into. I'll just see the damage so far. Yeah, 4k damage in about, I don't know, 15 seconds? Not too bad. If we let it spin to win for much longer, it's going to start dishing out massive amounts of damage, so we need to break it apart. That said, however, the Sutsun's guns will probably wreak much more havoc in the enemy lines than a single Blood Shrine will, so we do still have the advantage. Another Flock of Doom comes down, and it looks like our Free Company militia are well and truly established up on the walls and beginning to fire their pistols, relatively low in damage though they may be, and down onto the Chaos Warriors. We've also sent our Empire captains to start whacking away at that Blood Shrine, and those two should be able to clear it up fairly quickly as well. Great job to the enemy holding the gate, though. It held the gate here for quite a while, and I definitely do get disappointed at times when the enemy refuses to hold the gate and just holes up in the middle of the city somewhere, allowing you to take full advantage of the, not taking advantage of their own towers and stuff. But also you with the various thoroughfares and stuff within the city to surround them and such. It's nice when they actually properly defend here, as it seemed like a true grind, a slog through that gate. And there we go, the Empire Captains do finally bring down that Blood Shrine. The balance of power shifts to about 90% in our favor, and it looks like the gate, or the area around the gate, is full and finally ours. The Skull Crushers are done for, and the last of the Bloodletters here are melting away or being banished as we speak. The Warrior Priests give chase to the Blood Crushers. Getting a few more kills. Ooh, he just got 2 kills with a single hammer blow. Very nice. Sigmar's proud of you. Obviously, we don't want these guys coming back and rallying, so we might as well shatter them with a few more hammer blows. And ooh, you got 2 more kills as well. Very nice. Very, very nice. Otherwise, the balance of power continues going up, and we're at about 95% favor. Now the Exiles of Khorne are pretty much doomed, and really the only thing they have left on the field is a pair of Minotaurs. A little bit odd that they never committed them to the actual fight, and now they have to approach us through the Free Company militia being able to fire down on them, so I think it's going to get ugly. Not that it isn't or hasn't already been fairly ugly for the enemy. And with all these units up on top of the walls like this, is definitely reminding me of the ongoing Chaos Dwarf campaign and just sending the fire glaives up on the walls. That's still definitely one of the more satisfying aspects. Too bad we don't have anything like that. Handgunners just don't give you the same amount of pleasure, I think, as the fire glaives firing down with their laser-like guns. Anyway, the Minotaurs move in and are milling around, very confused as they get shot like bulls in a barrel, I guess, by the Free Company militia. And we do try to march towards them with our piles or with our mob of flagellants, but it looks like rather than even bother fighting and seeing those bullets hit their horns, the Minotaurs decide to shatter, and the battle is ours. A decisive victory, and very much so, not only over this particular settlement, but over the faction itself. Alrighty, there we go. I find it absolutely gloriously ironic that Khorne was at the end of the day defeated, or, well, the Exiles of Khorne were defeated by the most Khornate army we have, the Bumrush Flagellant army. Pretty fantastic. And the fact that they have, well, pretty much all the units with the exception of the handgunners, and the Sigmar Sons here have no hair. Their skulls shiny as if to mock Khorne. Come and take our skulls, we dare you. Alrighty, we're gonna occupy the place, I guess, though we'll probably be transferring it to our allies as we don't need it, and we certainly don't need the admin. We got ourselves another student there, and an ally mission successful, and the Exiles of Khorne finally destroyed. Luther Grobber's army, though I will admit that the Free Company militia did come in very handy there, will also be replaced by a follower army made up primarily of additional flagellants and something else, maybe some more Sigmarite disciples, just leaning into the type of army that this is. Though Luther Grobber will continue to lead it because I'm attached to the concept now. I guess that'll be something for Jamathius Warner to recruit, and he can recruit both disciples and flagellants here. Beautiful. Look, I want to transfer these guys. Does he have recruiting bonuses? Yeah, he does have Leader of Renown. Swell. Maybe we'll just summon another lord, like a Huntsman General, for example. Now, do we have a free lord? Somebody who's already done stuff? Yeah, there you go. Adolphus Kemp, you can transfer. I will have you ferry the units over to Arndt Frankenwerter, and then we'll have the other one recruit. In fact, wait, while we're here, we might as well start recruiting more flagellants. 1, 2, 3. And, oh wow, global recruitment is expensive, but honestly, it's not that much more expensive than regular recruitment. It's just recruitment is expensive for us. Huh. Oh, it's because of the recruiting shortage. Well, we'll recruit those 3, but we're not gonna do global right now due to the increased costs. Alrighty, well, with corn down for the count, I believe you guys are no longer needed here, and we can move southward towards Kairos, especially since we've declared war on him. Def Gorge and Gorgazan. Now, the last defenders hold Agrul Migdal. I wonder what it would take for them to give this to us. Agrul Migdal is worth 13.52. For a defensive alliance, they do it. Though it looks like the dwarfs won't appreciate it, or at least Thorek won't appreciate it. I am tempted to do so, and then we can give all this territory to Karazakarak, although I guess the problem with that is then Karazakarak will be closer to these guys, which is another problem. Also, Floating Village. Minus 19.5. Okay, well, we're not going to bother with that then. What else? What the heck is the point? Why do you even have that? They might lose it to Rebellion eventually, because I doubt that Orion is going to be staying there. Actually, speaking of Orion, you joined our war against Kairos, right?
What would you have of the king?
Yes, he did. Will he move down to actually fight Kairos is, I guess, then the real question, but not one we need to answer right now. Let's see who else needs to move. The boosters certainly don't. Bruno Grobber is... Why do I keep getting confused? Your name is Bruno Grobber, and you're Luther Grobber. Okay, so there's 2 Grobbers, and they're both warrior priests, which is what has me very, very confused. Oh, also, techs. We do have students to assign, but somebody did ask in comments what we're going to do in terms of the next techs, and I hadn't really given it much thought as we've been waiting for the Runefang Pact for what feels like forever since our since it's the technology that took the longest time. Now, our economy is going fairly well. Do we have anything here that is super critical to what we're doing? Oh, it's attrition 1 under siege. I thought it was regular attrition. Upkeep for free company, recruitment costs for infantry. It's all fine, but it's not a big deal. Imperial tactics would give us an army-bound ability. Nothing too crazy, but it'll certainly come in handy. All characters buffed. Oh, improved piston technology. That might be the way to go. When the endgame scenario approaches, we'll probably want the defensive supplies, although it'll be a little bit of time until we actually reach the endgame scenario. There's also, if we go through improved piston technology, we can get intelligence sharing, which is more success chances for our... construction tab. For our heroes, Lord Recruit rank plus... Oh, that's actually quite strong, because it'll allow our Empire captains to be recruited at such a rank that they can immediately activate their unique line, which is quite nice as well. What do we have here? Ammunition. Nobody really earns out of ammunition. Reload reduction 10%. You know what? For artillery, which we use in every army, that's not so horrible. Let's do that. It's only 2 turns after all. Yeah, we'll take that. There's a bunch of upkeep reductions and other useful stuff here, but yeah. It feels like it's bizarre how long the campaign has been, considering how few techs we have. I guess without running a lot of tech thieves, it's not really easy or possible for the Empire to get a lot of tech research going in at decent speed, I should say, especially without Imperial Academies. But Imperial Academies can only be built at Tier 5, and we only have 1 Tier 5 territory, a single one on the entire map, despite 121 settlements, and that being Altdorf, and that's despite the fact that we have the toll gates everywhere, and that's a lot of additional growth. 436 growth, yeah, so our growth is quite high, but our techs are quite low. Odd indeed. Oh well, either way, I think with that, this is probably going to be a good place to call it. The Exiles of Khorne have fallen. We'll move to Morgheim with Balthazar Gelt next turn, or oh, wait, how did I not spot Ferry in here? Oh, I must have missed you between... Oh, I didn't move Maternal Citizen either. Oh, okay, wow, okay. You're gonna move down here. We finally have the steam tanks getting to Balthy, although... You know what, I'm a little bit concerned that this is full of Skaven and then they move out and kill Ferry and destroy our precious steam tanks. That would be not so great. I wonder how many territories they have, but just judging by the Skaven corruption here, it seems like they are there. You know what, let's just keep you near the Dragonhorn mines. There's a decent possibility that you could get ambushed, but hopefully you're far enough away, especially with Thorgrim nearby, that they wouldn't even try. Also, Maternal Citizen, you're another one of the armies that's heading up north. Do we have access to the last crossbowmen yet? For the Fire Army? One turn for the 2 Token Guard. We can get the Knights of More, but we need an actual settlement to do so, so no. Maternal Citizen, I guess then you are going to continue up north. There's a lot of stuff to do over there, so yeah. Fortunately, with 4 armies going up there, hopefully we'll be able to relieve Karl soon. As I was saying for the text, we'll go for the firing drills for now, and then I think we'll try to go through intelligence sharing and improved piston technology, as well as manorialism, because of the Lord Recruit rank being very useful, and the defensive supplies, as well as the hero success chance, because clearly we're going to need a lot more in the way of tech thieves and research rate, because we really need these techs down to 1 turn, which I don't believe will happen until we're past 1,000 research rate, at least judging by other factions. Anyway, gonna call the episode here. We will have more battles and several ambushes that we're waiting for next time. There's also the potential for either trying to ambush or attacking a Dick Bootycatcher at the Awakening, though it will be a shame to rid the world of the best named character of all time. And yeah, there's still Karl to figure out what to do with, as well as Nude, who is trying to keep pushing up north, as is everybody trying to approach Karl. Just gotta save these Kislevites, man. There's a little sub-victory goal that we've got going on. Anyway. End of episode. More stuff to come. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.